It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow.
What we toasting to?
Shit, to a great podcast, bro.
Man, shit, always. Let's get into it, baby.
So tell me a little about yourself, like what you do and stuff like that.
Man, well, just a little bit about myself, man. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. My whole life lived here, but my family, my mom and my father, they're from Louisiana.
Okay.
Backwoods, you know. Mom's from a little town called Farmerville. My father is from a town, well, a city up north called Monroe, Louisiana. It's about an hour, 45 minutes from Shreveport. And yeah, man, just me, man. I went to Jackson State, Mississippi.
Okay.
So I went to college at, where Deion Sanders went and everything. And
nice.
yeah, man, and just majored in entrepreneurship. So I've always been about business. Just growing up, even my homies, I had a studio when I was younger. And recording and music and poetry is my real true passion. That's really kind of how I even got into just speaking, and just being in front of crowds and stuff. But yeah, man, music, poetry, Jackson State, and I went to Jackson State for entrepreneurship. That was my major, and just creating businesses was really my passion. But I was like, growing up in Houston and going to Mississippi changed my life completely. I saw things and racism on a whole nother level that I had never ever seen or experienced here in Houston. Yeah, because in Mississippi it was different. I mean, here in Houston I have, white homies, friends, cousins, Mexican, Latin, everybody here.
It's multicultural.
Yeah, it's very multicultural here in Houston, as you've seen just since in the little time you've been here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, extremely. So, it's like, going there, it was like a culture shock. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I didn't know shit. It's 20, it was 2012 at the time. Like, y'all still on that shit here? But yeah, man. So it just shocked me and changed my whole life and my whole perspective, and just, how the world really truly is still operating outside of my crib in Houston. So, but just beyond that, man, it just showed me just, how we still gotta. Man, just in Mississippi, it was just so different. So many of us are so segregated. We still don't have the understanding of business, finance, things like that. Then when you come back home to Houston and Texas, it's like you see the same things. I was like, damn, hold on. My homies were still doing the same things that they were doing before I left and went to college, and it was like, damn, I came back. Y'all still just slinging dope, chilling, playing video games. And I'm like, come on, bro, it's more to life than that.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel like if you hadn't went to college, you would be on the same thing too?
I think it's a personal ambition thing. You know what I'm saying? If we really want to get to the root of it, I'll be real, man. I had a father that was extraordinary. You know what I'm saying? I had a mother and a father, grandparents, my uncles, my aunties. I came from a very blessed family that didn't, come from too much brokenness. All my aunties been married for 20, 30, 40 years. All my uncles, all my auntie, my grandparents, 70 years on both sides of the family. So I was just blessed to see what family was, you know what I'm saying? And, so it kind of changed my perspective on just the world, because now when I kind of meet some of my other homies, they didn't have those opportunities. And I realized how much family really changes the whole structure of how a man walks, how he talks, everything, man. Like, and it's crazy. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but when I was in college, you could just see the difference, even in college, the brothers who had families, or who came from a father who raised them and gave them discipline. He walked different. He had a different confidence level, so it's just like what I realized is just, growing up with all my homies who had and didn't have, and going to college or didn't go to college, the main thing that made the difference was there a father figure? Was there some man somewhere that said, nah, that isn't the way to do it. Stand up straight or walk, do it this way. If they didn't have that, a lot of the homies actually kind of learned that from me, because I learned it from my father, and they kind of picked it up from what I learned from my dad. So, but it was just crazy, man, because, yeah, all my homies would love to come over to the crib, and they would just be, they'd come in, kick it, chill, but they would just be chilling with my pops on the couch talking and shit. I'm like, yo, we playing a game upstairs. What's going on? I'm like, yo, we, let's get this money. Let's play the game. But they be down there, like, talking to my pops and shit. And, you know, it'd be the craziest things. My dad with the pants up to his belly button and shit. You know, I'm like, dog, my dad is, you know, I didn't think at the time, like, my dad's not cool like that. What you guys just sitting on the, you know, on the couch talking? But they used to love it, you know, and it used to give them something that they didn't have. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, you know, as I've gotten older, it's like, damn, how can I give that energy? How can I give that same spirit to a lot of other brothers and sisters that don't, you know, people that just don't, that didn't come from the same background as I did, that didn't have the advantage to have a father to tell you what's right and what's wrong. People don't understand that's an advantage, bro. To have family, to have support.
It's a big advantage.
Man, you know what I'm saying? And my family, one thing that was big about my grandfather, he had 17 brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Family was always huge, man. And, you know, my mom had 11 brothers and sisters. And, you know, we had over 500 people at our family reunion. Just family is the biggest thing that if we don't do anything or talk about anything today, people go back and build your families, because that's where your money and that's where your wealth really started at. And that's when my grandfather was like, yo, if we don't do anything, we not ever letting go of the family. We got family land, we got family this. So, you know, now it's my duty. I mean, we got over 200 acres of land in my family, you know, and nobody's ever did anything with it. Mm-hmm. You know, my grandfather, before he died, he was like, do something.
Where's it at?
In Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to build like a whole little community, and you know, we're going to, you know, do some hemp and, you know, build houses out of hemp that can't be burnt down. Anyway, but that's another thing. But it's just like, yeah, man, you know, it's just about, you know, trying to make a difference off the lineage, man, off the heritage. And that's what I hope that I can teach and show other brothers and sisters how to go back in their family and their heritage to learn how to get those roots and learn how to build.
Right.
You know,
I spoke in another podcast, and I said, I was saying that, like, I feel like a lot of people don't have generational wealth. So people, you know what? But you just made a good point. You're saying that a lot of people have generational wealth and don't take advantage of it or realize it. That's a good point. Yeah. But, you know, but there's some people who don't have any generational wealth at all. And so they got to
be the black sheep to build it.
Yeah, so exactly. They're the beginning of the generational wealth.
Absolutely.
But here's what you can do for your kids. You can give them all the knowledge you have. Like, a lot of people hold back. They don't spend the time with their kids. Like what you said about your family. Yeah. They gave you the knowledge. They gave you what they knew. You know. Sir. So, like, no matter the situation, you gotta, like, us as parents now, we gotta give our kids everything we know. Like our daughter, she's singing. You know what I mean? So we record her music. We shoot her music videos. We promote her music. And we're teaching her. You know, we write her songs. You know, shout out to my girl. She does a lot of this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's up.
And so it's like we're trying to blow her up. You know, we're giving her the knowledge that we have to set her up, and that's something that we can do. But everybody has a skill, like something they're good at. And,
everybody.
And it's like, even if your kids don't really want to do what you do, maybe they don't. That can cause the issue. But there's something that, you know. Like, if you support your kids, you can support them and help them become who they want to be.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
Because that's the beginning of generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Like, because all the most successful families, man, they have been having generational wealth for many and many and many generations.
Absolutely.
So they're way ahead. But we don't even try to compete with that, because we don't have that advantage. Well, some people do, but we personally don't. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know I
don't. Me neither. No, you're right.
So,
sure.
but what we can do is be the one to start it.
Absolutely.
You know, take what we learned and then hand it down. And if it's money, you know, that's great. But money's not the only thing. Come on. Because those people, they didn't only give money. They taught you the game. Come on. They've had a system created that their kids were going to, at a young age, be groomed to be that guy. Come on. The Rothschilds and these guys and these big, you know, rich families. Yeah. There is a system. And the only thing you can do is be the one to begin it now. You know, like, if we could see it that way.
Man, you know, that's exactly it. 1,000%. And, you know, like, the mindset and what you're talking about is a new programming. You know what I'm saying? And really what we're going to have to do for just the community is create a new program. Because we've been following a program that was taught to keep us as slaves, as chattel, as property of a corporation that was really owned by somebody across the water. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into that later. But this is just more so about us waking up to our property, to our rights, to who we are in this system that we've been birthed into, and just knowing how to take control. Because, you know, once we take control, it's like, okay, now we can start creating real, true generational wealth. We can start because we can set up trust. We can set up we can do insurance. It's like, hold on, too many of our brothers and sisters are dying and didn't even have life insurance or just the basic shit. You know, and now the family's scrapping up dollars to figure out how we gonna bury it. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. You know, everybody in the family should have life insurance. Like real wealthy people, they all have like $100,000, $500,000, $1 million life insurance plan. When mom, pops, grandpa, and them die, boom, that's $1 million, $5 million that goes back to the family trust that can be given out as family loans for new businesses. Everything is all about, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, and that's something we all can do. You don't have to be rich to do that. Come on.
Everybody in the family can pay for somebody's insurance plan. You know what I'm saying? That could just be, you know, you're a part of the family. You got to pay $25 every month. But that, you know, $10 go towards me, mom, insurance plan, $5 go woo woo. But at the end of the day, when those individuals of the family die, that money goes back. That's 1 million, 5 million, whatever that goes back to the family trust. No, the family's not going out to go get loans from the banks. No, we don't need that. We just go to the family. Y'all got insurance money from 2-3 generations before I was born. You know what I'm saying? That's what real family wealth is.
Yeah.
Me and you weren't born into that.
Right.
But you got some people that were born into wealth where they got 3-4 generations before them that had $1 million life insurance plans. They still living off great-great-great-grandpa. It's like, damn, they got real old money. That's how it's like, no, we're not going to the banks for investments, and we go to the family. That's how everybody's family structure should be ran. If you have enough money to get a $5 million, $10 million life insurance plan, that's the realest shit you could do for your motherfucking family before you die. Get you a motherfucking insurance plan that's worth some money, and then it's like, when I die, now I'm going to set a whole new generation in plan for the next few generations. And if you believe in reincarnation and just on some higher spirituality, you might come back and get to enjoy some of that. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, but that's just like the power of family. And looking out, because we've been taught to be so selfish here in America. Like, you know, and when I lived in China, they would introduce themselves by their last name first, then their first name. That's how you introduce a Chinese person.
Because your family is where the respect comes from.
Your family's first before you are. But here in America, how you introduce yourself, you say, my name is my first name, and then you're going to find out who my family is. Not in other countries. You can't go to Japan and China, shit like that. You can't do that. They like, no, who is your family first? I need to know about your background. Then we can talk about who you are. You know what I'm saying? Here in America, things are so backwards, bro. Right. Business, everything is so backwards.
Well, I mean,
man.
This isn't a coincidence. The power is in the family because you're the only person that's going to really be there for you is like the family. You know what I'm saying? The people like after you die. Yeah. Like, why would some random person be there for you? So if they're able to hold you back, you know what I mean, by breaking the family down and not making it so important, and then what's that gonna do? That's how you end people from getting too powerful. That's how you keep the rich rich and the poor poor.
Come on, but it's families that run the world.
Exactly. So they don't want
breaking them up.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't want too many families. They have enough. They don't want no more in the circle. They're like, our family's good. We don't need no more because you're competition. So back to what you were saying about reincarnation. That's a good topic. What is your thoughts on reincarnation? Do you feel like you're born again? Yeah,
just with the Dogons and what, they kind of teach and things. Well, I've kind of learned a lot of my knowledge, man. They kind of just teach, and there's a certain book called Black Root Science, real deep, man. You can check that out too.
It's called what again?
Black Root Science.
Okay.
Yeah. Very deep book. It was written by a Griot there from the Dogon tribe.
Okay.
In Botswana too. But yeah, it was just a real deep book about us, just kind of our heritage and. They talk about reincarnation, and basically they were talking about back in the days, like we didn't even used to die in the physical, like. We didn't die from like harm or drug. It was different. We used to die when we were ready. We used to actually ascend. That's what it was called. We would actually lay our body down and, lay in the tombstones. And when we were ready to actually physically leave the body, spiritually, we would leave these capsules. These are just capsules. This is just these flesh, meat, bone. This is nothing. You're a spiritual being. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been here before in many different vessels. This is just a vessel. You know, so you know what we were taught by the Dogons, it was just more so of, you know, we used to ascend and we used to come here for an experience. This whole life and this whole human experience was a 3D experience for us to have and learn new things about love, new things about. But like I said, this past 6,000 years has been very different. This past 6,000 years has been learning about all aspects of God. You know, like I said before, this past 6,000 years, we had only experienced just goodness, just graces. I mean, we have been here for millions and millions of years. This 6,000 years is the most important time in human history ever, you know, because we got to experience all aspects, the good and the bad. You know, I would say me or you wouldn't be the people who we are if we didn't get to experience the goodness of God and the bad. You know what I'm saying? It was really the bad that really made the character of who you are.
Absolutely.
Same here.
For sure. But you don't think the previous generations did?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just about, you know, all of this it all builds into the character of who we are. We had to experience this. We had to.
You know, there's a saying that 50 Cent said. He said, I don't know who said it, but he said it in the song Many Men. He said, if it wasn't for pain, joy wouldn't feel so good.
Come on.
So if we never went through
Facts.
that pain, we would never appreciate the joy.
Come on.
And it's like enduring. So, you know, you don't learn anything when you're going, when things are good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't really, you're just having fun. What did you learn? Like
Nothing.
if you're up and you go to the strip club and you have a good night, what'd you learn?
Nothing.
I mean, you might have learned. Maybe you'll learn to spend less money. I mean, but you probably won't because you do it next time anyway.
Yeah.
But what'd you learn?
Nothing.
When you was down at the bottom and you ain't know how to pay that rent. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, how can I do it? I don't know. I got to figure out something.
Facts.
And you figure out a new way to make money.
Yeah.
Hopefully they ain't robbing nobody. You know what I mean? But you figure out a new way.
Yeah.
But because you had to, out of force.
That darkness made you see the light. That's the beauty of really just experiencing life and really knowing and understanding what this is really all about, man. So that's just what I kind of been on just the past few years, just on my journey, on my spiritual and things of that nature, man. And just like I said, when just studying the Dogons and just understanding the whole 6,000 year experience that we're in right now.
So when was the Dogon tribe? They were in like Mexico area, right? South America?
No, the Dogons actually in Africa. You know, they're.
I'm thinking of a different tribe.
Yeah, no. But they actually, a lot of the knowledge and the things went over here to Mexico and over to the a lot of the same knowledge is shared within the tribes. I'll just say that.
So what area was in Africa?
It's actually Mali.
Mali. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of those Dogons and things like that at. And they were one of the tribes that were, never ever tainted. They were, from Western society or things like that. They were the ones that were never ever tainted. And these were a book that was written, Black Root Science, again, by a person that was basically, he was the keeper of the knowledge of the tribe. That's what a griot is called there in Africa, of the tribe. And he just kind of kept the knowledge. And, and basically everything that he was saying was just that everything that we're experiencing right now is destined. It was already written. And, it was just all a part of the test and the humanity that we're living in. Because, again, do we know who we are or are we following the ways of man? You know what I'm saying? That's literally it.
There's so much you said, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Do we know who we are? Or are we following man?
So it's interesting that the Dogon tribe believed in reincarnation.
Yeah.
But as well as like the Hindu culture
absolutely
believed in reincarnation. So these are two different places. I don't know. I gotta look more into the Dogon tribe's understanding.
But it's all connected.
So let me ask you this: in the Dogon tribe's beliefs, are they able to reincarnate as an animal?
Yeah, they can reincarnate their spirits. It's not so much about the physical of the being of whether it's an animal, a human, or woo. That's kind of irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's life. You
know how deep that would be to understand that every animal on Earth could have been a human or was a human in a previous life?
Possibly. At the end of the day, he could have just been here for a different experience. He wanted to feel or wanted to see, because again, we get to choose what we want to be before we incarnate into this 3D plane. So at the end of the day, maybe on some weird, different, not even say weird, but just on a different experience. Maybe I just wanted to feel what it was like to be loved, to be rubbed, to be touched, to be felt, to be given biscuits or whatever. But I'm just saying.
So I'm gonna tell you from my perspective. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a very valid point. You know what I mean? But I think maybe it's possible that it's more of a punishment as to why you'd be reincarnated as a specific animal.
You think so?
I think that maybe the one of the greatest incarnates you could be would be human. Because we have the control and sway over the world.
Absolutely.
We have the ability to change things. Like we are the number one, predator of the world,
Right.
So it would make sense that as far as if you're going to incarnate into something on Earth, you would want to be a human, right? Yeah. At the highest level. So I would assume that if you're a bad human, then it's possible that you might incarnate as a roach or some... You know what I'm saying? And your life is only like a fucking week till someone steps on you. Yeah. And then you come back again. Now you just have to build back up the way. Now, also, maybe there's a possibility. I mean, these are just theoretical. Of course. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's possible that if you are a bad person, maybe you don't go back to a roach, so maybe it's not that quick. Yeah. Maybe you weren't the worst person, but you weren't the best person. So maybe you're going to be born back again into a really bad circumstance. And maybe that's why some people are born into really bad circumstances. Because if ones that a lot of people don't believe in God, they say, why would God do this to me? What'd you do in your last life, bro? Shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's why he did that to you. Maybe your soul is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for healing. You got to go through the pain to bring it back. Yeah. The pain
of through the darkness to see the light.
Exactly. And maybe that's why some people are born into those lives that are just their parents died when they were born, or they got in a car accident and they were 1 year old. Like whatever,
an abusive relationship, seeing their mom.
Exactly. And maybe because they were abusive in their last life. And maybe that's why they had to see that shit. Maybe like, hey, you ain't gonna do it this life. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's heavy.
So I think that's more about what reincarnation is about. I feel like it's now
lessons.
It's lessons. It's like, but then it gets you to the ultimate question of what is the ultimate goal of reincarnation. Like, we're going to learn lessons, but what are we? Like, we're a soul, but what is the soul? Is the soul just like the thing that connects us to something else? You know what I'm saying? Is the soul us? Or is the soul a piece of us that exists inside of this?
As all is oneness.
But it's like almost like a portal to another dimension. Absolutely. And that's us.
Yeah. You're just a piece of the oneness. Yeah. But no, that's heavy. All right, brother. Yeah. Because no, you're right. Because I mean, damn. Wow. Damn, you just went into a portal. Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like that is the understanding of Hinduism. Yeah, that's a similar kind. I don't know if that's exactly. I'm not a student of it. Maybe I should study more because I'm not a follower of religion personally. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a follower of God. You know what I'm saying? And just being a good person and good morals. And I think that religion, my opinion, and I put a video about this recently, and people were pissed off. But I feel like there's many paths to God. And I feel like it's okay to take religion to God. I think any religion. I mean, why not any religion? There's a couple like Satanism or whatever. I don't. Yeah. But most religions, I feel like at core are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're for the right reason.
Yeah.
And they might not be doing everything right to certain people's way.
Yeah, beliefs.
But it's still like a path to being a better. Absolutely. It's like you want to be a better person. You want to have better morals, and you want to reach heaven.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But look, heaven and hell aren't a place if you're going to believe in the reincarnation path, that means that heaven and hell really isn't a place you go when you die.
Right.
What heaven and hell is a place where you are now.
Absolutely.
Depending on how you live. Like if you're a half glass full type of guy person, you're positive, everything's a good day. Yeah. Nothing really gets you down too much. Yeah. You love you appreciate everything.
Of course.
Of course. And then I feel like you're living in heaven. You might not be in the highest level of heaven.
Right. But you're happy.
You're happy.
You're living. Yeah.
It's heaven.
Absolutely.
Now everything's bad. Oh, it's a bad day. It's gonna rain. It's just something bad's gonna happen today. All those people who are always anticipating something bad happening, like they're always worried about. Oh man, these people gonna fuck me over. Yeah. And it's like that's all they think about. They're living in hell.
Yeah. You see, and always complaining.
Always complaining because you're never gonna be happy. You know what I'm saying? You don't appreciate anything you have. Yeah. So I feel like that is what heaven and hell is. They're metaphorical mind states.
Absolutely.
As opposed to you die and go there.
Well, I mean, everything is about a state. You know, it's funny you say that, you know, because you were like, I mean, you have a mind state. You have a state that you live in. Everything is about state and really having your status, your freedom. That's really what this all stems to. Your status. You know what I'm saying? What is your status? You know, because at the end of the day, what status are you living in? Are you living in their status, their corporate status? Are you living in your own your own world, your own vision status? Are you sovereign? And like all of this at the root of it. And this is why I always tell people, like, the highest therapy, the greatest therapy you can have is knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? Because when you know who you are and what you were here on this earth for, you know, I got sisters that be deep into the astrology and the numerology that can tell you everything about your birthday, your numerology, why you were here, how you were here, the specific date and time that you were born. It's like when we get into the science and the magic of who we are, you know, that's when we really get to understanding our purpose and our reason for being here on this earth. You know, everything in this corporate system was all about throwing you off, you know, your equilibrium, throwing you off of your, you know, your balance and your shit. Because if we ever had the basic cultures and the basic things of tradition of just, you know, cool, we're gonna know your astrology, your numerology, and at a certain time you're gonna graduate into manhood, just like the bar mitzvah with the Jewish. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this was a part of every culture, every tribe. We all had a bar mitzvah. We all had of that. You know, but now
to become an adult.
Yeah, you become an adult.
It was like a tradition
manhood.
of something. Like you had to go kill something.
Come on, where's that at now?
Yeah,
you know,
it's like nothing. You know,
nothing. We all seen 300. You know, you have that main part in the movie.
They're gonna throw you in the wolves. You know what I mean? You better live.
You gotta be a man. Mm-hmm. When do we have that in society nowadays? I say we don't. You know what I'm saying?
We don't know, and that's why there's a lot of men who aren't prepared for life.
Come on.
But you know what? Back to what you were saying about state. It's like I feel like this is a system. Mm-hmm. It's a system that's created because they want everybody to be a carbon copy. Like we can get into real quick the education system. There's a lot of stuff going on with the education system.
Started by the Rothschilds.
So
come on.
So I'm not. Yeah. So exactly. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert on the subject, but I will say what I do know about the education system. It was created by the Rothschilds, and a lot of people don't know like who's behind the curriculum, who's behind, and maybe I shouldn't have said the Rothschilds specifically, but a group of people who were in control of the money, corporation, the corporation
that put the whole General Board of Education together.
Exactly, exactly. And what it is that our education system was created to create workers because that's all we learn. When we go to school, we learn how to be stand in line,
yes, sir.
Do what we're told,
indeed.
Don't speak unless spoken to, don't think for yourself, be a carbon copy or in the same state.
Facts.
As everybody's in the same state. And why do you think that they're going to give you, he has ADHD? Oh, because his state isn't the way we want him to be. So let's neutralize who he is. Oh, he has bipolar. 100%. You know, but what if those mind states were you? What if that bipolar was the reason why we alive now? Because certain people had bipolar, and those were the warriors.
Exactly.
When someone pulled up with the stick or with the sword, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was like enough is enough.
They clip. You know what I mean? Maybe those people, maybe they're not so important now.
Yeah.
But man, those motherfuckers were the ones who were chopping heads. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is they want us all in the same state now. But these people everybody is who you are. You know what I mean?
Course.
I don't think God, if you believe in God or whatever you believe, was like created you to take a pill to make you different. Is that what he wanted?
Never. Is that in the Bible? Is that in your Constitution? Is that? Nope, never. It's not in any of that. You know what I'm saying? Never. You know, we didn't need anything unnatural to be given to us to be natural in who we are and who God made us to be. You know what I'm saying? So I think just, you know, everything about this system is about taking you from your naturality, taking you from nature and just the source of knowing who you are.
Exactly.
You know,
right. And you know what? We're getting to this topic right here about fluoride. It's a perfect example because they're making this deal about fluoride. RFK Jr.
of course,
is bringing up the fluoride. Yeah. You know what is interesting is I've been studying fluoride for years.
Yeah,
I've known about it. And you know what the weirdest thing about fluoride is to me is why is it in baby water? Okay, if
it's in bombs.
Exactly.
Fluoride.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it's put it in the water to help your teeth, that's the reason, right? Why do you put it in nursery water? They don't have teeth. Okay. So let's just start right there. Fluoride is messing. It's a neurotoxin, and it's directly affecting your pineal gland. And did you know that? Fluoride is.
I just knew it wasn't good for me, but I didn't know that part about
fluoride
the
is
pineal.
calcifying your pineal gland. It's putting a calcified whole encasing around your fluoride, which is basically making it mostly ineffective. Now, I'm not no expert. People, doctors, maybe somebody would tell me I'm full of shit, but I will say this. I think that your pineal gland is where your soul exists.
Of course.
And I believe that, okay, you know what? Maybe, you know what?
Of course.
Let me rephrase that. It's where a piece of, like, it's not where your soul exists. Your soul exists somewhere else, but it's where your soul connects. It's like it's like almost like the antenna.
Your third eye.
Yeah, it's your third eye. It's like your antenna where you're able to pick up the signal from your soul or from God, right?
Yeah.
So if we're able to disconnect that with fluoride, and you know, in case you're,
that's how they control humanity.
that's how they can keep us disconnected from God in our inner self, our real soul.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but you know what's interesting about fluoride is, on a whole nother level, it was tested by the Nazis in the concentration camps to see what it did. What is neurological? It was being tested in human trials. So we took the information from their tests during World War II, and we used it in America, because you know, you heard of
100%. That makes sense.
How many Nazis we actually brought,
of course,
to our military,
to work in America.
Scientists,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's how we would have knew that. So a Nazi came here most likely. Oh, we just got the report, whatever the case may be. We knew the Nazis did them tests, and we used it on the American public.
Absolutely.
And now they're standing up and saying, "Hey, hold up, why are we doing this still? What's the benefit? It helps your teeth. I mean, does it? You're swallowing it."
Because you got people in Africa who don't use none of that, but teeth be white. You know what I'm saying? Just be using a little bristle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is that really good for us? All these different chemicals, this and that, because they got different things from nature that are natural, and they white bright over here. You know, and we over here using this shit, we buying off the counters, and it's really actually killing us. Yeah, bro. You know, it's just funny you say that, because the deeper and deeper you more, you know, go into the system, you begin to realize that everything, every angle, they're out here to kill you damn near. With your food, you can't even brush your teeth without these motherfuckers trying to kill you. Bro, you can't even wash your ass. Some of the soap that they got chemicals in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, the tissue paper that you wash that you wipe your ass, the tissue paper got maybe some shit that the underwear, the drawers that you wear, the clothes that you wear got certain dyes and chemicals that be fucking up your ability to have kids. But just all of this, it's like, bro, they're attacking us in so many different ways, and we're just living life and just, it's just a lovely. No, you are under attack all day, every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. You are being attacked by this system in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And if you are asleep to that, they got you. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, I'm going to tell you, like, I don't know how many levels it gets to, but this is what I think. I think that if you're going to be realistic about how many branches of government we have, we got the executive branch, judicial branch, the congressional branch.
Absolutely.
We actually have 4. We got the corporate branch.
Yeah.
Okay. So these people, you know, for years and years and years, have been able to fund all these political campaigns.
Absolutely.
And the reality is, this is what I think. I don't know how deep the conspiracy goes. Are they really trying to kill us? Or are they trying to make money?
I was just about to say, or make money out of us. It's not so much to kill us, but
cutting corners. Because when
drain us.
Because, well, not just that, but like when you're making a product, this recipe is going to it's going to cost a lot more. The natural recipe.
Yeah, for sure.
Or let's cut the corner and cut all that natural shit up out of there. Oh, that shit's too good. That's too expensive to get the fresh shit or whatever. Let's go this route.
Yeah.
And it's got all these chemicals or whatever to keep it whatever, and it's way cheaper.
You still get the hit.
Yeah, it's still good. it's good, but it's just not good for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I feel like that's where a lot of this is happening. But what happens is when you let something say unregulated, like when you let the FDA, for example, like the FDA, you got Monsanto, you got these different corporations that have these CEOs they're literally the CEO. They're on the board of the FDA, but when they leave the FDA, now they're
back at Monsanto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's kickbacks, like major money. They might not even go to. We're getting paid for the rest of their life for passing certain bills. So the point is I really feel like it's all about the money, and I feel like there has to be a crackdown on the government where it's like, hey, look, fuck that. It needs to be about the people, about our health, because all throughout history, I want to get into something we talked about before the podcast.
Yeah.
All throughout history, we didn't have pharmaceuticals.
Right.
Hey, look, I'm going to say it like this. If we really needed pharmaceuticals, then we wouldn't be here. Because we would have died already. If we really need vaccines,
we would have died
already. Because there's been motherfucking, pandemics before. A black plague. Hey, look, there's only a couple we heard of. How many more bubonic plagues? I don't know about all the pandemics, but I bet you there's a lot we never heard of, and they wiped out some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 10,000 years ago, whatever. You know what I mean? We lived.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We're still here.
And I'm not saying that we need to lose 10,000 people. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, at the end of the day, but I also am questionable about a lot of things,
Right.
But my point is, just to get to the point, is like, we don't need that shit because we're here.
What is the purpose of, I don't know, maybe needing the government, or just maybe even needing like vaccines in general, or just needing the things that they try to give us when we had already survived for millions of years without it?
Exactly. It's like we just need to change in the government where we're gonna get away from like we don't need to be able to have a connection between the health system and the FDA.
Right.
Like, we don't need to have a connection between the same thing. We're getting people sick with the food.
Right.
And then we're going to turn around and give them the way to get through it, the pharmaceutical. So, I remember where I was going with it. So, I feel like before pharmaceuticals, we had natural remedies. Absolutely. It's not like people run around here getting sick and like, oh, I'm going to die. Like, they had something. They're going to eat some kind of berry, some sort of thing they know, some sort of little thing, elixir they made.
You're damn right.
Natural from plants.
Some natural remedy,
that worked, right?
So
so you spoke about, before the podcast, you spoke about some headphones. That you made. Tell me about those.
Yeah. Man, so, just being a producer myself in music, and being in music, I'd always grew up listening to my headphones, just staying up late night hours, producing and doing the different things like that. So just over time, I had actually produced a tumor, a little small tumor, and I got a little, stitches in, but that took it out, everything like that. And it was just because I used to always wear my headphones on, listening to music, just producing. And yeah, man, just those EMF waves eventually, started to cause cancerous waves, that were just going through my brain, and it ended up, creating a tumor, and they had to cut it out, everything, and it's crazy. Just holding, I'm like, man, it's crazy. That was inside me. But it was just, that changed my whole life, and I was like, I want to create a headset and a headphone that could help prevent EMF waves from going into people's brain, like literally your brain when you're listening to these headsets, and when you're on your cell phone. So all this stuff. So we ended up putting shungite into the headsets and integrated that into the headsets, and now, man, it actually brings it down to a 0.04% level that's actually healthy and legally acceptable. Because the iPhone, the computer, the iPad, all of these things are way over the legal limit of the amount for EMF waves that's actually safe and healthy for the natural human consumption. So that was probably the dopest thing, man. Just bringing the shungite, bringing the earth, bringing the naturality into the products, and just trying to get back to nature again, man. And the sound is good. You got your phone, you got the Bluetooth in it, you can talk, you speak, just everything on there. You can tell it what to do, download.
And that's a product that you have for sale?
Yeah.
Okay, so one more time, for the people who don't know, what is it that you have in it? What, spell it for them?
Yeah, well, we have Sync by Melody headphones. So our Sync.
No,
headphones.
I'm talking about the
smart headphones.
No, what you're putting in it?
It's shungite. We're putting into the
and how do you spell
headphones. Shungite. SHUNG. ITE,
Yeah.
shungite.
Yeah.
And it's a certain
that's
stone.
a lot. I know a lot of people probably don't know about it. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I actually
And
take
I wear
that.
a lot of stones, so that's why it's like I know a little bit about it. But that's what we put in the headset, some stones. And shit.
Because people take vitamins of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I take those. I was making sure it was the one I was thinking of. We take vitamins of that.
Oh, you like shungite. You talking about the black one?
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. It's not shungite. What you're talking about is shungite.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's why I was like spell it for me. I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right thing.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I take that too myself.
Yeah. So
I know what you're talking about.
So you're talking about a stone.
Yeah, a stone, like an actual crystal, a stone.
Oh, wow.
And it's something that we, integrated and, cut up, pieced up, but we actually put the pieces in, and built it into the headset. And
it's blocking the EMF.
Yeah, and it's blocking the EMF from the music that's coming into your brain.
So what's the name of the?
They're called sync headphones. Because
sync
they're always
headphones.
in sync. Yeah, they keep you in sync with everything.
See, we don't think about this stuff. We don't think about the radiation. You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. We are literally living lab rats. Because all this new technology.
I gotta take a shot at that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, real talk. We're living lab rats. Yeah, man.
Bro, all this technology we never seen it used on a human before.
Yeah.
5G, 4G, all kind of shit. We never seen what it could actually do. So we don't really know the effect. You know what? And that makes me want to get in a whole other topic. And make sure y'all get them headphones. I feel like like people don't realize like what's really going on with these AirPods. Yeah. Reading our mind. There's all kind of crazy shit going on.
Come on, you be talking a thing and it just pop up on your phone for some reason. Come on.
Yeah. Like there's been studies that have been showing that shit's able to read your fucking brain waves. The AirPods.
Wow.
They have technology they're using on us that we are not aware of. And that would be very good for advertising. Yeah. I mean, it's plugged in right there. I mean, it's not. It doesn't
that's
sound
what I'm saying.
crazy.
It's directly into your thought, like into your head, your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
If it wanted to shoot a certain test to get a certain type of feedback, why wouldn't it be? I could if it wanted to.
We're going straight to the heart of the whole operation. We're going
everything
right to
going
the brain.
on. We know what you want. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So and when they say it's an update, we don't be like, oh, let me read what it said. I mean, it might be at one point it asked for permission to read your brainwaves, and we were like, yeah, of course, install. It's automatic. We don't read
because you didn't read the whole caption.
Yeah, because it's fucking 20 pages, 50 pages, and you're not gonna read the brainwave part. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
We didn't probably already accepted some shit.
Yeah, we accepted some shit like that for sure. But so let me ask you this on another topic. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Of course.
So what is your thoughts on the Mandela effect? What do you think it is?
I think it's real, like basically like something that's already happened like in the past before, or something that's kind of is almost like a duplicate of something you've seen before. What would you define it as? Is more of a question.
The Mandela effect, well, from my understanding, is like there's certain things that happened in the past that we remember it one way,
right?
But it's really not that way.
Okay, let's make it
so the Berenstain Bears. Have you ever heard about that?
Absolutely.
So, in your opinion, how do you spell the Berenstain Bears?
Damn, that's a good one.
At least the end of it, the last like 5 letters. Let me ask you like this: was it
Stein?
Stein, right?
Yeah, Stein.
Stein, right?
Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain Bears, right? Yeah. Well, if you looked it on Google right now, it's gonna say the Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain, Stain. It was never
There was never A. It was never A,
right? Like we can agree on that, right?
100%.
I'm telling you right now that if you had an old book, like if you had like from a kid and you just happened to keep at your mom's house something, and you're just like you pulled it out, it's gonna be spelled Stain.
It was definitely.
It was definitely EIN, right?
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling, and that's just one example. There's so many.
And no, it was another one. Sinbad. Sinbad had one.
So yeah, I'll bring up 2 more. Sinbad. There was 2 movies that came out, and it was so weird back in the day to me. There was Sinbad, Kazam. Okay, look, let me.
Was it one with Shaq?
Yeah. So it was
Shazam.
So exactly. So there was Shazam with Shaq, and there was Kazam with Sinbad. Do you remember watching them both existing?
Right.
They both existed.
Both of them.
They say that the Sinbad movie never happened. It never existed. Like there was never a movie. And I saw the Sinbad movie in the theater with my cousin. So when people say like, "Oh, it's not real," I'm like, "Man, you can't tell me that." And then there's another one. There's there's a bunch of them, but the ones that are really hard to like be like, "Are you serious?" What about the Monopoly guy? Did he have a thing on a monocle on his eye?
Yeah, on his glass.
Yeah, little glasses, right? According to history, he never had it. And it goes so deep that if you had an old Monopoly set in your house and you pulled it out, no monocle.
Nah, bro.
So I ain't gonna lie. When I heard about this,
You're talking about the little iPad with the little chain.
Yeah,
that went around, bro. He
had that shit.
What are you talking about? Yeah, he had that on there. That was the little eye patch. I mean, not the eye patch, but the little eyeglass.
Yeah,
with the
little chain that went behind.
The glasses. He definitely
had that shit. 100%.
100%.
But they say he don't. Never. Okay, how about this? One more. Smokey the Bear. Was it Smokey? You ever heard of Smokey the Bear?
Of course.
Of course, right? Was it Smokey the Bear or just Smokey Bear?
No, it was Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear. If you look in history, Smokey Bear. He was never Smokey the Bear.
Didn't Smokey the Bear do Dare?
Yeah, but he would. I don't know if he did Dare, but like at the same time that they were telling us about Dare, they would tell us about Smokey the Bear. Yeah. Dare was about the drugs. Smokey the Bear was about the forest fires.
Oh, okay.
But we were in the same grade, learning about these
Yeah.
things. They never said Smokey Bear. They said Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
And you're from Houston. I'm from Tampa. I learned Smokey the Bear. You learned Smokey the Bear. So it's not like there's certain cities that said different things. Everybody says Smokey the Bear. So
it was never Bear.
Smokey Bear, right? So here's the crazy thing about this. How did history change?
There was never a Smokey Bear.
Exactly. So how can they tell us that that's not true?
It was always Smokey the Bear.
Exactly.
Talking about with the hat and the
right.
So am I thinking about the same Smokey?
Yeah, he's got the hat on, the circle hat, the four. He wore like a ranger hat.
Yeah. Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
He was never called Smokey Bear.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's just a couple examples. There's like fucking 50 of them.
I'm saying, are they saying that he was called Smokey Bear?
They're saying that he was called Smokey Bear and never. If you Googled it right now, and if you had an old shirt from back in the day, because they used to give us shirts like Dare shirts, and they gave us the Smokey the Bear shirts, it would say Smokey Bear. Something changed in our timeline. This is not a joke. This is like a real thing. It sounds like magical, right? Like when I first heard this, I couldn't stop thinking about it for a fucking year. I was one of those weirdos who'd be at the party and be like, "Hey, you're the Mandela effect?"
Right.
And, you know what I mean? People like, what? Be like, man, look, is it Smokey the Bear? You know, but like, it's real shit, bro. This isn't no joke. So it's like, dog. So I'm gonna tell you my theory. I got a couple, but I'm gonna tell you the one that I think happened because I'm not big into like simulation and all that shit. I don't want to think. I don't want to believe that. I want to believe. I think what happened is, you ever heard of CERN?
Of course.
Okay, so you know about CERN firing up.
Yeah.
So some of what you know about
CERN. CERN.
Yeah, CERN.
You know, just like a whole little portal, some shit like that, you know, and they were supposed to be bringing in different spirits and different portals, you know, from connecting different worlds and shit like that. You know,
right?
Yeah.
So CERN is they're shooting these high speed particles in this particle accelerator under the ground. It's like huge. It's in Switzerland, and they're shooting these particles at these very high speeds, and they're colliding. And they're like the small little particles, and they're shooting them at like light speed or some crazy shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's light speed, but it's fucking fast.
Yeah, of course.
But it's so small, it's easy to propel them like that. And they're getting, you know, they've been doing this. The first time they did it was back in like the 90s, I believe, and they did it in like 2000s. They've only fired it up like 6 or 7 times or something, like on full power. Mm-hmm. They've only done it a couple times. And
they just did it. Didn't
they just did it last year.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll just make sure I was.
So you know, I'm not an expert on it. You know, I don't want to act like I'm an expert on it, but I feel like one of the first times that they fired it up was when the Mandela effect started. Right. The first notice of the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
You know, I written down all the dates. I should have reviewed it, but like around the time, the reason why it's called the Mandela effect is because of Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. There's 2 stories that people believe on Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Some
now,
people.
I know you finna go with this, 'cause I think
some people believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison, and some people believe that Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa. Right? Or was it South Africa?
Yeah.
So there's 2 different memories. Some people actually remember him dying before he became the president. and then some people remember him not.
Getting out of getting out of jail and becoming the president.
Right. So we were so young that it's hard for us to really have an opinion. These are for the older people who were like grown at that time. It's like the 90s or something like that. And and they would remember it, but maybe it was in the early 2000s. Not to believe that was in the 90s. So that was the original Mandela effect. That's the reason why they call it the Mandela effect. So it was around the time CERN was first fired off. So a lot of people think that when they're shooting these particles around, they believe that there was some sort of portals that have been opened. But beside even that, they believe that there's intervention with other dimensions.
Absolutely. 100%. I can agree with that.
So so some way, shape, or form, they're colliding dimensions. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not really I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist. I consider myself somebody who has an open mind.
Yeah.
And I don't care what I was taught or what I believe.
Yeah.
If you come to me and you teach me something that makes more sense than what I believe,
for sure,
I'm open to that.
Same.
You know what I mean? And that's
Absolutely.
how we become more knowledgeable.
That's how you become an intellect.
Exactly. Because if you know it all, then you fucking know it all.
Right.
If you know it all, then how smart you are today is how smart you'll ever fucking be.
Come on.
Because
Facts.
you know it all, bro.
Yep.
What you mean? You know it all.
Yep. I know nothing.
Exactly. I know a little bit of a lot of things.
All right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A little razzle dazzle. But I
believe you too know a little bit of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you might know a lot of some things. Don't get it twisted. I'm not technical, but I'm just saying, it's a humble way to approach it because there's so much to fucking know.
Yeah.
We have to be humble enough to say that there's a lot more to learn. And if you say that, man, you can learn some things.
Come on. 1,000%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ski.
But no, I mean, as far as the Mandela effect, I don't know. It's something that's blown my mind. I encourage the viewers to look into it.
You gonna make me have to ask my mom and my daddy tonight, bro.
You should. Look it
yeah,
up.
Because you're right. That's before our time.
A lot of the stuff is, especially the Nelson Mandela one specifically. Yeah. But they fired it up throughout our lifetime, multiple times during our lifetime. There's a newer technology that was being created.
That was implemented.
Exactly. So this isn't something that all of history can relate to.
Yeah, they've just been perfecting it over time, and it's now we're living in the times where it's like they got their shit iced up, they got it greased up, we were the experiment,
exactly.
Like the 80s babies.
So back then when they were doing it, they were probably doing some fuck shit. They weren't doing it right.
Yeah, we went through everything. You realize that, the cell phones, right? We were the ones we went through all the different test phases, bro.
Right, exactly. So let me ask you this on another topic. I feel like the simulation theory. A lot of people. Have you ever considered the simulation theory? Is that something you've ever thought about before?
Nah, kind of break that down a little bit more.
As far as if we were living in a simulation.
Oh yeah, in a matrix, basically. Yeah. So absolutely.
So and that's another explanation for the Mandela effect. You're shooting these damn particles off. They're colliding.
Yeah.
And it's fucking up the damn computer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. They've created a conception where they've been able to, like you said, bounce the different atom bounce. They have us in a matrix, and they know that they've literally taken us out of our natural cells and our natural beings to actually be corporate subjects of their corporation. You know what I'm saying? It's no different if you go work for Apple, McDonald's, or Walmart. You know that you are an employee of their corporation. You must do and act as they say. It's no different with the United States. The United States is literally a federal corporation. Yeah, it's a you can look it up online right now. It's a federal corporation. So at the end of the day, it's like if you know that you are participating in corporate activities, it's like either you want to be here and participate, or either you can disassociate yourself and come back and do business. That's what this shit is really all about. So many of us were born into this corporation, this life. We think it's real. We think this is reality. The thing why people like Donald Trump are such a shocker is because Donald Trump is somebody who speaks with no filter. He lets you know exactly what he feels, what he's trying to say, and he's like, yo, listen, this is really all about business. And the thing about a lot of us as melanated people, we think this is a real country. We think this is they're operating truly, purely on straight corporate business and terms. And Donald Trump knows that, and he speaks openly and freely. And so many And like he speaks so openly and freely that it kind of offends people who are still in the ignorance, you know. And when they don't know what's going on, they think when Donald Trump's telling you exactly what's happening, and we don't get with the groove, like we just think that he's being racist. But really, what's going on in the business mindset? It's like, yo, he's telling you, yo, the United States is a corporation. I know it's a business. I'm doing business over here. I'm doing business over here, and it's like if you don't get your affairs together and get your family in line, you're gonna be in last place, man. It reminds me of this movie In Time with Justin Timberlake. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite movies.
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, bro should have won a Grammy for that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it just shows you how it's finna be a huge wide gap between wealthy and poor that's about to create it in the next 4 years. That reminds me of that movie, because they show you in that movie how the poor is just struggling and fighting to get, you know, a sense of a dime, you know, and they're working in the manufacturing. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is about to bring back here. He's about to bring back manufacturing. But at the end of the day, that manufacturing job gonna be a few cents on the dollar. But you know, this is all a part of the sacrifice for us to get to where we want to get in the future. But if you don't have your affairs together now and get your family together now, get a business together now, you're gonna be working those factory jobs, those manufacturing, when you could be actually the business creator who's creating a job for the manufacturers. You know what I'm saying?
And that goes back to like the topic we were talking about with the education system.
Man,
we are taught to be an employee.
Come on.
So if all we learned in school is how to be an employee, and we didn't, like, back to even what we said about generational knowledge and wealth. If you weren't having that generational wealth and knowledge, then you're not going to have that to fall back on.
Yeah.
So all you have to fall back on is your education, which is a lot of people. And now you're just falling into the system or the matrix, or however you want to put it. And in that system, it's about going to work 9 to 5, whatever your schedule is, every day, pay your bills. Now, and I will say this. I feel like it's okay to be plugged into the matrix. If that's where you want to be, because I've been plugged in.
For sure.
And I mean, I'm not going to say I was exactly happy, but man, I was stable.
Yeah.
I was stable.
If you tapped into the program and you living on a consistent system and you happy, you got a wife, kids, and you living that shit, all power to you.
Yeah, you got the house.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
You're gonna own it one day. You know, y'all having kids.
Yeah.
You go to work every day. You know, you're never gonna be. You might never really be rich because there's only a limitation on where you can go.
Absolutely.
But you're happy. And that's content. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'll even break it down from God's perspective. Maybe that was your job. Maybe that was your parents' job. To be stable, you know, and give you that education. Like, they were there for you. You had both your parents just to bring you and just to bring your personal life into it.
Right.
Because it's like that created you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that created you. And just like how just having a stable life, you know, working the job, going to work, having that stability to show your kids that, teach them something, to get them in a position to be able to branch off and do something big in life.
Yeah.
That was your purpose.
Yeah.
Your purpose was to raise the child in the right way.
Everybody ain't meant to be a superstar. Everybody ain't
exactly.
meant to, absolutely.
We can't act like if that was true, then there'd be a lot more damn superstars.
Absolutely.
Everybody's not meant to be that guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's not him. Everybody's not her.
You need regular workers, you know, regular people, you know, everybody makes a part of the society. You have to have that.
You have to.
You can't have a society without that. Everybody can't be the man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have opportunities in this world now where there can be some more people who are him.
Yeah.
There can, like, you
well,
can,
I guess when I say everybody can't be the man, I mean everybody can't be that position.
No.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Everybody's not that, because the truth of the matter is, just I'm gonna be honest with the creators. There's Michael Jordans in every industry. There's LeBron Jameses, and there's a lot, and there's Hardens.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, whoever you want to name.
Damn
you know what I'm saying? But there's also people who tried to make the NBA. And didn't make it.
Yeah,
that's just the real truth of the world.
There's way many more.
If you're great at, if this is you, if you're one of them people who can do it, then do it.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. You have to accept that, because God put us here for a reason.
Come on, everybody has a purpose.
Everybody has a purpose, and maybe your purpose was to be the best damn parent The best for your kids to make them into something great, or maybe your purpose, maybe your parents did that for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe
never knowing what that kid was gonna be, just because you needed to be the greatest parent. Yeah,
and right. maybe for some people they needed their parents to not be the best parents.
You're right. Just so that it could evolve and become who they needed
and have the strength they needed.
You're right.
For their equation.
100%.
That's how they were to win. So so it depends on the person, and it can go all the way back to reincarnation, maybe why you had to go through that shit.
Yeah.
Because your previous soul, because there's some kids that come out loving.
Yeah, you're
there's
right.
some kids that come out hate. Like a little angry. I mean, just you're like, what's up with this kid? Maybe he was a demon. You know what I'm saying? He was a real serial killer. You know what I mean? Like you never would want to think that. I'm not saying you should think that. You know what I mean? But you don't know.
Definitely have something that's on that time.
So as a parent, it gives you a responsibility to say, hey, I need to nurture this child a little bit more. Maybe he didn't get that. So we don't all believe in reincarnation. I personally, like when you said that, it definitely sparked my interest because I believe that. Yeah. I believe that we've been here before.
Absolutely.
And it could tie into the simulation.
Yeah.
Because it could be a simulation. We could be, and let me ask you this, okay? So getting into the simulation, let me ask you this. We are living in the golden age. I don't know how many advanced civilizations existed before. I don't know if we've been technological before. I don't know if we were humans a million years ago and the bones in our societies are gone. Yeah. Because of weathering, floods. It's a million years, man.
Yeah, of
now,
course.
maybe that shit ain't found no more. So maybe the point is, maybe we have been technological before.
Right.
Shit, maybe we came from Mars.
Yeah.
And we were technological over there.
We've definitely had technology.
We've had technology before.
For sure.
But I don't know if we had this technology. We might have had a different technology.
Of course.
But the point is, for us to live in this age right now, when I was a kid, we didn't have internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we rode a little kid. We had no damn cell phone. We was riding our bikes around.
Yeah.
We know that time. We lived in.
Yeah.
We know. The kids now don't know. Yeah. There was a time when you was out, you was out. Man. Yeah. You could be miles away.
Literally, you didn't have internet. You was out there playing.
You didn't have a cell phone.
The little jacks and the little little ball and the little jack.
Doing whatever the hell you wanted.
Yeah, all kind of little different shit.
You didn't have your location.
Yeah,
none of that shit.
It was different.
Playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? Football,
chilling, football, flat.
Sitting on the green box, smoking a blunt. You know what I'm saying?
Back in the day.
But it was a different time. But we experienced that, and now we've experienced this technological fucking explosion. Where it's like, holy shit. We went from having like AOL, dial-up, to having
AOL,
our phones to having phones that are better, like 20 times better computers than our computers.
You got everything right there on the cell phone.
What is the odds that we would live right now? Out of all the years humans have been here, we were born now. If reincarnation doesn't exist, this is our only life.
Yep.
What's the fucking odds we would live right now?
That's why I say the 80 babies is so important, man. So special. We got to see it all. We literally got to see what it was like beforehand, and now we're living in the after.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally, we can still, me and you can vividly remember the phones that used to have the little ring joints.
Yeah.
They're doing the little circles.
From a young age.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The dial up.
The rotary phones.
Yeah, the rotary phones.
Yeah.
Well, I can vividly remember the rotary phone. We went from the rotary phone all the way to a smartphone now. Everything computer, phone,
AI,
all right here on the cell phone. And a little bitty, they got phones that are smaller than this, but everything is right here in your palm. We used to literally have them big ass camera quarters. I can remember them.
Yeah. We had a house phone. Yeah. We had a cordless. At first it was a corded phone. Yeah. Then it was a cordless phone.
And that cord phone used to stretch.
Yeah.
You get the long joint that stretch all around the house, man.
Right.
You bring it all the way upstairs, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we experienced all of
when you used to call the girl's number that you got at the park, you had to talk to their dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, hey, can I talk to Melissa? They're like, who is this? You're like, fuck.
And you couldn't do like the sneak talking on the phones back in the day.
I got lucky, bro. Like, I met my girl in the music industry. She's a singer. I'm a rapper. We were actually signed to the same label in Atlanta. We were both managed by Zane.
Stop.
Yeah. And that's how we met. And we just got in the studio, started working and shit. And we were both in a relationship at the time we met. But after
just on some music shit,
yeah,
just chilling,
vibing. Yeah, it was kind of like we got out of relationships around the same time type shit.
Yeah,
and I mean it's a little deeper than that, but yeah, that's how it happened. So we ended up moving here together. I mean, if it wasn't, I'll give her a lot of the credit for what I became. I feel like a lot of men aren't willing to let a woman change them. A lot of men feel like they know it all, and they feel like they're already that dude, and it's like, and they feel like women. They may not value women enough, but look at every single successful man. They always had a powerful woman behind them. Almost every single one. I mean, there's a couple out there that did on their own. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying if you want to look at the blueprint of success, look at every powerful man had a powerful woman beside him.
You're right, 1,000%.
And it's because they allowed their woman to help mold them, to show them some things.
To put your ego down and actually let a woman make you better in areas you were weak.
Exactly. And I wasn't always willing to because I felt like I had it. But when you meet that woman who's like, all right, you thought you had it. I'm going to show you some shit. And you kind of submit. But it's an equal submission. If you want to, you have to find a woman who's willing to also submit to you. You are submitting to become one. The only one to become one is meaning you both submit to each other.
Man,
I don't feel like all that men who were like, oh, she got to submit to me. Yeah, like it's cool. Maybe that'll work for a while. But you
got to submit to her too. It's an equal. It's equal field. You're right.
It's equal. And if she doesn't have that, if she doesn't bring that quality. Just from my perspective, I mean, I've dated plenty of women but when you find the one, you kind of know, and it's gonna happen. But the problem is a lot of people have found the one, and they didn't treat it right in the moment. They had that one, and maybe it's possible to revisit that one, but maybe it was just a lesson. Maybe you thought it was the one, and then another one, but it prepared you for the one. But the point is, I don't know if I believe in a soulmate, but I do believe that we were put here for a reason. Yeah. And I believe, as a man or a woman, there's somebody out there who you're supposed to meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see, you said earlier in the podcast, you said that you think everything's been, you quoted that everything's been written for us. Yeah. I don't know what you think, but that's what you quoted.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I think this is just me. I mean, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hit the theory, brother.
And you tell me what you think about it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm open to everything.
I think it has been written.
Mm-hmm. But you still have some kind of form of control.
Yeah.
I knew
you were going to say. Yeah.
I knew you were going to go there. Because we do. But what if the form of control that you take was written? Like
possibly.
It was written that you knew that you were going to take control.
But I'm going to tell you why I won't. Because I want to take a certain amount of accountability. I believe in a certain amount of accountability, and I want to say that some people fuck shit up. They just do.
100%.
And I don't know if that was written. I think they gave up. I think that you were supposed to be stronger in that moment, and you're a bitch, and you gave up. And because you gave up, other people didn't get somewhere. Because when you have a team, and you're in the front of the team, and you give up, your team falls.
Wow.
Maybe they're able to find another team or whatever, or maybe they just quit.
But if you fail, the team falls.
Exactly. If you have a team, if you want to be motivated,
especially if you're the leader.
If you're the leader of a damn team, you can't quit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know. Call me what you want, but I don't know what quit means.
Me neither. My daddy ain't raised me to be that. So no, I'll never quit. Me personally, never. Like that's the shit. I'll die on that hill.
You feel me?
I mean, I've been on that since I've been in football, sports.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. That's the mentality.
It's the sports.
Yeah.
Me too. I was a wrestler. I played football.
Oh, word. Okay.
But I got real big into wrestling. Yeah. And I think that wrestling, boxing, martial arts of any sort.
It's going to test you.
Yeah. It's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
So there's no team.
You're testing a manhood. Like I'm testing you as a man.
Like, am I a bigger man right now in this match? In this boxing match, am I a bigger man or are you a bigger man?
Yeah.
Because when you play a team, it's like you can always blame it on this guy, that guy.
Yeah.
You can't blame it on fucking nobody.
Yeah.
You were in there.
Yeah.
And
it's you versus somebody else.
One-on-one. It creates. That's why I always suggest wrestling as a sport in high school because man, that's what taught me to persevere. Because I was one of the people who never laid down. I don't care how tired I was. I don't care if you were better than me. I'm a fight. and I'm probably gonna win because I won most of the time. You know what I mean? And I feel like, but I was meant to do it. You know, I was willing to do it. I had a choice. I had a choice because some people say, see, if you believe that everything was written, then that means you also believe that free will doesn't exist. We got to. You can't say one thing and then not look at the other side of it. You're saying that your decision was never a decision. You were going to make, and I've met some people. I want to bring up one of my boys in the podcast he's a psychologist, and he doesn't believe that free will exists from a psychology scientific standpoint.
Yeah. I got plenty of psychologists that are boys. Yeah,
and I ain't gonna lie. It kind of at first I wanted to argue a lot with him.
Yeah,
we used to argue. We'd be smoking a blunt, arguing about free will existing, which is crazy. Who the fuck does that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but we do that.
But you're right. No, you know, and it's crazy because I can't argue with you, even with the point you're making, because that's actually a very good argument. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's smart as a smart ass, and as much as I like to talk and as much as I like to get off, you're actually making a very good point, you know, because we still have the opportunity to make a choice.
I feel like either you're going to look at it like everything is written and we have no choice. Yeah. I feel like there is a story written for us. There's a purpose. You know, and that's why I like podcasts like this, because I create my own. I'm a philosopher.
Yeah. No,
you know, my name is LetItPhlo, right?
Yeah.
My original name, came from D philosophy. I spell my name PHLO.
Okay.
LetItPhlo. That's my rapper name, but that's just my name. That's what people call me. But it started off as D philosophy. You know, and then I've shortened it to LetItPhlo, and that's why I spell PHLO.
Okay.
I'm into this philosophy of things, and I feel like it takes great minds to understand
Absolutely,
things.
100%.
You know, and I feel like the question is everything written for us? Do we have a choice, or is it more simple than that? We all have a purpose that we're supposed to do in our life, and it's almost like, okay, maybe it's not you read a book and it tells you every word, or you have an outline where it tells you like A, B, C. Yeah. You're going to meet this person, and this person, either you're going to say fuck them or you're going to build with them. Yeah. And depending on that decision is going to create another timeline.
Do you think that timeline was already written? Do you think that somewhere in, just in time, they already knew you was going to meet this woman? They knew you were going to have this kind of interaction. But let's just say in your situation, they knew you were going to meet your wife. They knew this was the time and just the essence. They knew you were going to produce a child. All of this was already in time. It was already written. Or was it more so of it was the choices and the decisions that you made? Because you didn't have to fuck with your wife. You know what I'm saying? That could have just been a night where you was feeling good and just like, you know what? I'm just going to fuck with shorty. Or you've been like, you know what? It could have been a night you was just on something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really, is the power really in your hands? Or is this something that was already determined before you even knew, before you even met your wife? Like, it was already written, like, she was the one that was for you.
I think, right. Yeah. And I think that's a very valid response. Yeah. I feel like when you like in life and you start seeing things coming together the way it happens, and you look back at it, you're like, man, that shit was some magical fucking shit. Yeah. Not just with your girl, but just like when you decided to get on your platform and speak your brother truth, right?
Yeah,
You decided to speak your truth.
Yes, sir.
And you look back at it, you're like, that's some magical fucking shit that I'm here now.
Yeah.
Who I am now. What if I didn't fucking get on Instagram?
Come on, G.
You feel what I'm saying? Was it meant to happen the way it happened, or did you personally have a certain control? I mean, I feel like that's a good question. But at the same time, back to the original perspective is, if everything was planned and everything was written, then we have no free will. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you,
that goes against everything that I believe in sovereignty and freedom.
You feel what I'm saying? And me too. When my boy, I gotta talk to him. Maybe we can talk to him together, but to argue with him, or debate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, debate.
Because not argument.
Yeah, debate. Of course.
But the point is like the scientific people look at it like we don't have free will,
right?
Because everything that you know isn't really your thought. It's somebody else. it's not. I'm not saying just one person said it, but you heard this combination of so many people.
Yeah, I mean, just even the laws that I've learned, it's all concepts from way back in the day, though.
Yeah,
it's English.
Like
English
everything
law.
that you learned was somebody else saying it, and then you put together multiple people saying it. So was it ever your actual thought? Did you ever actually have a thought?
Create the
of your
original
own?
Conception of the thought.
Exactly. Were you the creator of the conception of the thought, or was you combining a whole bunch of other people's thoughts that you heard to come to your consensus?
So are you a philosopher then, or something then? Really? At the end of the day, because all you did was just take a whole bunch of people's thoughts and just studies over time. I mean,
exactly.
At the end of the day,
Is there a philosopher?
Yeah.
Is there a philosopher? Or was he taking the philosophies of other people
else
and combining it to become with his philosophy that he didn't even come up with?
What is a philosopher then?
Exactly. So, and that's the thing. So, man, it gets deep. Because I also, going back to the third eye thing.
Because everything comes back to that source.
So, what if everything that we think of is a collective consciousness that we are connected to through our...
Absolutely.
And we get these ideas.
That's what I've been taught. That's what I've known. And that's what the Dogons have always taught us, that it is oneness. It is collectiveness.
Okay,
you know what
so
I'm saying?
let's get into this topic then. What if religion, because everybody wants to be like, I'm scientific, I'm religious, I believe in God, or I'm scientific. It's not like both, right? It's kind of like this. But what if you can look at the studies? We just spoke about how on a religious level,
right?
This is the deepest religious understanding that your path is written, right?
Of course.
This is like what most religious people believe.
Yeah.
I don't know about every religion. I'm saying most, that your path is written. Okay. Yeah. So you're saying there's no free will. The scientific people
say that you can.
So no, the scientific people are saying there's no free will.
Oh, okay.
As well. They're saying it
right,
from
okay.
a perspective
right. I got you, because it's already been it's already planned.
We're just repeating what we heard.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? We're not really ever making our own decision. We're making the best mathematical decision in our mind based on what we know. Right. It's all calculated in our brain. We're not really making it
currently.
Exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is what if they're both coming to the same consensus?
They are, though. Why wouldn't they be?
Exactly.
I would think 100% they are.
So science can't explain everything. Religion can't explain everything. True. Religion ain't telling you 2 + 2 = 4. Or God, the Bible, whatever. We're not talking math. It's not a mathematical equation.
For sure.
So they're explaining different aspects of the truth. You can't explain God with math. Because
God comes in many different aspects.
And he's beyond any math. If there is a mathematical equation that can explain God, best believe you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody does, but we don't. It's way beyond our comprehension.
Come on.
We're talking about quantum physics and chemistry or whatever. We're talking about trigonometry. Man, that God equation, that's something we never
And it's all
heard.
about what do you confine God as? There's so many different aspects of God.
What is God to you?
God is so many different aspects. God is everything that we see, hear, feel, touch, taste, everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, to put God into a thing or a person or a man. Because usually in religion they usually try to put God as a man or whatever. You know, I don't even want to put him as a male or a female. I put him more as an energy, as a thing. You know, as a spirit, it's a oneness. You know, is what we were always taught. It's a oneness. It's something that embodies all of us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like God is in me, God is in you, God is in that person, God is in that person. Now, whether they see God within them or not, or whether they believe the ways of man and believe it's something outside of themselves, God is within you. You know what I'm saying? You would not be on this planet or this earth if God wasn't in you. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't have gotten here. You know what I'm saying? To have life, to have existence. You know, so it just depends on what you feel like, what that definition of God is. But my definition of it is just, existence, and at the end of the day, I don't really get caught into the racism of the black, the brown, the woo, woo, woo. I mean, there's a depth to that, just as far as when you start getting into humanity, as far as humanoid species and just the existence of beings on this planet. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about dealing with modern day society and reality, at the end of the day, this really just comes down to knowing who you are, where you are, and what you're dealing with, and how you can make the best and benefit your family to the most benefit and power, man. Because this system doesn't give a fuck about you. Presidents will. I can promise you, Trump not losing no sleep over you and your family. They don't give a shit. But at the end of the day, this is about you understanding what's going on in society and learning about how to benefit, and utilize those people to your position to, benefit you and your family. Because I don't give a shit about Trump, but I do know he has certain things in plan that I can benefit and use as a tribal, descendant, especially just it didn't even matter as a tribal and, as a tribal descendant. It's just more about Trump stands on the Constitution. And if we have a president who's standing on the Constitution for once, then this is our opportunity to come back as no matter what, black, blue, purple, yellow, it doesn't even matter what your color is. This is the opportunity to come back and build what you need to build. Because as long as it's in alignment with the Constitution, they can't stop you. And last I checked, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you can't have cannabis or you can't bear arms or you can't bear none of that. Because back in the 1700s, 1800s when George Washington all them was passing this, they had guns, arms, they had hemp farms, they had cannabis farms. They wasn't going to outlaw that and putting that in the Constitution. So at the end of the day, it's like what Trump is giving us the opportunity to operate as. It's like, I don't care if you like Trump or not. Trump is a minimal factor of what this is about. He's enforcing the Constitution, and it's about us coming back to get on that Constitution and really building the heavens that we want to build.
I'm going to tell you my opinion on Trump.
Yeah, tell me what you think about Trump. I would love to hear.
Before I tell you,
I'll be real interested to hear what you think about Trump.
Before my opinion on Trump, I'm going to tell you my opinion on politics in general.
All right. Well, tell me that.
I'm not personally.
I want to know what you think about just business, commerce, whatever.
Exactly.
First.
Like as a white man, I'm a white man, but I see the
commerce.
Yeah, so I can see the angle because I've been around a lot black community a lot, so I can kind of see it from more than just the regular white perspective. Right. But this is what I will say. The whole blue, no matter who thing, I'm gonna tell you why it bothers me. Because I feel like we should never. And you know what? I don't care if you're red, no matter whatever the saying is, red so you're dead. I don't care what the saying is. You should never vote anybody, no matter what. I feel like you should vote for who's best.
Period.
Period.
Excuse me. Forget
good.
Yeah, forget who's what class or what who they represent. Who is the person that you're trying to put in office?
Who is going to actually?
What's the character?
What's their character? Who's actually better for our country right now? That's what needs to be said. Because I don't feel like, and the reason why I say this, because I don't feel like race should be relevant in politics.
Nothing to do with it.
And I'm going to tell you why. And you know what? Somebody could correct me, and
I agree.
I kind of want to get into. I've done some research on this recently to kind of understand it. Because whenever I'm on the shade room as a white man commenting on anything to do with Trump, I get bashed. Oh, you're just a mega, 100%. And all this stuff. But my thing is like, why does the whole black community support the Democrats? Because the Democrats put Obama in office. Obama didn't do anything specifically for the black community. Number one. But let's go to number two. Kamala straight up said,
"Come on."
She said that she will not do anything specifically for the black community. Man. So my thing is this. I'm gonna tell you my revelation. And I want you to go on I'm going to go on a tangent. I'm going to let you go on your tangent. Yeah. I had a revelation when I realized that the Democrats are the ones who passed the Civil Rights Act. See, because they talked about MLK and JFK, I started to look into that and realizing that the vice president of JFK, Eisenhower, I forget, he's the one who signed the Civil Rights Act, right? So I started to understand, okay, now I see where this connection to the Democratic Party and the black community is, and I can respect it because that should have happened long ago. People are people, right? From my opinion, I don't believe in racism. I believe people. So, but we can get into that on a whole nother topic. No. But the point is that I kind of understood all the bashing I would get. I'm like, okay, I can see the Democratic thing, but is that Democratic Party that JFK and Eisenhower are a part of the same Democratic Party of today? Do they have the same values? Because look, man, people change. I've known people who changed in their whole one damn lifetime.
It's totally different, And I mean, just over time, things have changed, especially since the 60s. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? it doesn't represent. I mean, just who Republicans were is totally different. Because, like I said, if you want to go back to the real roots of who the Republicans were, many of them started out with melanated people too as well. The true Republicans,
the beginnings, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, senators, everything like that were melanated, man. And I mean, you can even go back to Louisiana and what was that? 1868. You know, when they actually had the Reconstruction of the Constitution. You know, these were all brothers that were in the Constitution, but they were, Republicans and, but they had on suits, ties, but they were
who knows that?
Yeah, but who knows that? So it's just like
they don't teach that in school.
They don't. They gotta keep that hidden in order to keep the, because again, like you say, you go on there and you try to give light to the brothers and sisters, but at the end of the day, all they know is Democrat this, Democrat that, not knowing the Republican history of, starting with the melanated people.
So that's why I'm so glad you came with that response. But I do want to say this. I'm not saying that the Republicans are perfect because they on some bullshit.
It's a different party now.
They're different. And I will say this. One thing, so I told you I give you my opinion about Trump. So I'll say one more thing, and then I want to hear your opinion.
Go ahead.
Okay. The reason why I think that Trump is a good option compared to Kamala,
for sure, compared to Kamala,
because I'm not saying
that's who we were. That's who the comparison was.
That was our comparison, right? So right. We have a choice to choose one or the other,
right?
There's no third choice,
right? It was that or the other,
and so the Biden administration, we all know the story of Pinocchio. He got strings connected to him. He's a fucking puppet, and that's what Biden was. We don't know who was in charge. I don't care.
We don't even know if Biden was even in charge of his life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know what he signed.
Yeah.
We don't know. We know he's falling over. He wasn't there. He wasn't president.
Yeah.
So what makes me think Kamala was his vice president? What makes me believe that she won't be another puppet? She won't go and do any type of speeches that are longer than 10 minutes. She's got this limited. We have a limited knowledge of who she is. You see what I'm saying? We don't know, if she's going to be another puppet. And that's what we're seeing. So we have to decide, do we want another puppet? She was
gonna be.
Exactly. Do we want another puppet or do we want someone in charge who's actually in charge?
Yeah.
Now I want to say that I don't know if Trump's going to make all the right decisions. I think that
nobody's going to agree with everybody,
as
with
far
all
as
his
the Congress
decisions.
and all these things. I think that if he knows business, so I'm assuming he's going to do right for business.
Yeah.
He has people in place.
Yeah.
Like RFK. I don't know about the Elon
and
Musk.
RFK is a Democrat.
Let's say that.
Let's say that.
If you're blue, no matter who.
Yeah, he's a Democrat running with some Republicans.
Because we talked about FDA, we talked about food, talked about health.
Yeah.
And he's fighting against that. Okay?
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Now, the Elon Musk thing is a little weird. The whole, I'm not going to repeat it, but whatever you did, I wish you hadn't because I was rooting for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not even because of Trump, just you as a person, because I've watched a lot of podcasts with Elon. So I hope you have an explanation. But I think that I didn't vote, so I'm not going to say.
Me neither. So I can't really contradict anybody. That's I'm not. Me neither.
I just cannot support ever, and I don't think anybody should support someone being in control of this country who's clearly just bought out and controlled by somebody else. If it's that obvious,
I'll put it like this: to me, what president wasn't obvious? You know what I'm saying? Because every president has had to bow to that ring. I just, I made that post today, and I was just talking about, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican, you're finna go see those, some of those Jewish brothers and sisters over there, and you're gonna have to bow to that ring. It doesn't matter what party you support, Republican or Democrat. At the end of the day, it's like, this is a corporation, this is a business, and you could be the president all you want to, but there is a board of directors. There's CEOs, there's real people. That's always, if you just know anything about business, the president is not always the controller. You can be the president and the CEO. That's different. But at the end of the day, just being the president doesn't mean that you have the control of everything that's going on here. If you have a CEO, I can guarantee you as a business owner, as somebody who's owned business, I can promise you the CEO is going to tell the president exactly what the hell to do. If not, you're going to get fired. And in this case, when somebody gets fired, they get killed. If you don't abide by the rules, because you know what you signed up for. Trump knew what he signed up for. Obama knew what he signed up for. Biden knew what he signed up for. Every president knew what they signed up for when they became the president of this corporation. Because it ain't been nothing de jure or real as the real United States of America going on since 1861 and Abraham Lincoln suspending the habeas corpus. Since then, in 1861, the United States has not been de jure. It has not been sovereign.
So let's get into that. Why is that?
Well, the thing is, in 1861, you had Abraham Lincoln. Let's go back to the Civil War, because this is a very important time.
I saw you posting about that.
Yeah,
recently.
Just had so many slavery, so many things that were going on in the South and the North. And, at these times, Abraham Lincoln was like, we're going to go ahead and, he wanted to suspend the habeas corpus because you had so many, even from Washington, D.C. A lot of people don't know Washington, D.C. was even a slave state, too. And they had many slave owners and, and just different things. A lot of the
presidents were slave owners.
Absolutely.
So what does that mean?
So, you had many slave owners there in D.C. and they were like, we're not with this up here. With the union, y'all talking about no slaves. Like, hell no. We trying to make money. It's commerce going on out here. So he was like, Abraham Lincoln was like, we need to go ahead and, suspend the habeas corpus because, if anybody or the rioters, the rebels try to come up on D.C. or whatever, we just need to throw them in jail and they don't need to, have the right to do a habeas corpus to be able to get in front of a judge and get out of jail legally, lawfully. So he was like, no, suspend the habeas corpus. If they try to run up on the Capitol, throw them in jail and don't give them a day in court. So he was like suspended. So he was doing something that was outside of the Constitution. That was unconstitutional. So the thing was, in order to suspend the
and for those that don't know, what is habeas corpus?
Oh, a habeas corpus is basically like the ability, if you ever get thrown in jail and you feel like it was unlawful or unconstitutional, you have the right to be able to get your voice heard in front of a judge. You get your day in court. That's what a habeas corpus will always allow.
So to suspend it, what does that mean?
When he suspended it, he said basically we're gonna go ahead and throw people in jail and not give them a day in court.
Oh, so he was doing a bad thing.
Yeah, so he was like, you all are rebels. The South, the Southerners, the Confederates, and y'all are trying to basically overthrow the Union, the government. And he was like, nah, if y'all come up on the government, I'm going to just get y'all thrown in jail, and I'm not going to give you a day in court because right now we don't have time to be playing with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he suspended the habeas corpus, which was unconstitutional.
But it was in an attempt to fight the South.
Yeah, it was in an attempt to fight the Confederates. But when he did that,
they never restored it.
Yeah, he never restored it, and it's been unrestored since 1861. And then since then, because Congress later on, in 1862, they were like, we're gonna go ahead and recognize your habeas corpus. But at that point, it was too late. Because really, truly, to suspend the habeas corpus could not have been done lawfully unless Congress had approved. But when Abraham Lincoln had did it, Congress wasn't even in session at the time. It was like a holiday. They were chilling. But he had suspended the habeas corpus, and Congress didn't even approve it. So you did something outside of the Constitution that was unlawfully. And ever since then, everything's been de facto. I mean, Congress later on went back and said, this was, we're going to go ahead and side with Abraham. But at that point, it was already too late. You had already did some shit that was de facto. So they were just like, fuck it. Let's just kill Abraham and let's just go ahead and, the bankers. Because the bankers were like, fuck it, let's just go ahead and come on in here. Let's kill Abraham, and let's go ahead and let's just carry on with this. It's already de facto. It's already dead.
So you feel like that's why he was killed?
Yeah. The bankers moved in and went ahead and killed him and killed the greenbacks because Abraham had created his own dollars. He created the greenbacks. They were like, the bankers came in, the Rothschilds was like, fuck, hey, forget him, kill him. Let's kill these greenbacks, and let's create our own central banking system. You know what I'm saying?
So from what I understand, this I don't know that, and that's very interesting. But they got ratified in the Constitution or during our government back when the Great Depression, right? When we got in the 30s when we got rid of our gold standard. Mm-hmm. So this central banking system got their power when the Great Depression happened. But why the Great Depression happened?
Oh, it was even before then. They got it in the 1870s. That's when they really got.
So that's
power.
When they started, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that.
1870s.
So people don't realize that these banking, we never really became free during. So let's bring it back before the Civil War. Let's go back to the Revolutionary War, and let's go back to how we fought Britain. Well, when I say we, I should say the American people fought Britain.
You about to get me turned up, bro.
and supposedly we won the war, right? We won the war, and we became a free sovereign nation of the United States, or we were in. But did we win the war?
That's what we were taught,
right? That's what we were taught in school. The education system that the Rothschilds, who are British, taught us. So go ahead, tell me.
So I would just say, we never really won the war. It was more so of, because that was one of King George's greatest failures as the king of Britain at the time. It wasn't that he lost the war. It was more so he lost the battle. So at the end of the day, like when we claimed our freedom in July 4th, 1776, we literally took a corporation that was already created. King James had created something in the 1600s, and it was really called the United Colonies in New England. You had James. It started off as Jamestown Colony and things like that, but it grew into the United Colonies of New England. And then, when we got our freedom from Britain, and we declared our independence on July 4th, that's when we changed the name of that British corporation from the United Colonies of New England to the United States of America. Still the same business entity, still owned by England.
The
but
Crown.
We just changed the name.
The Bank of England. The
no
Crown.
different than if you had a business right now and you just amended the name. That's all that was then. So the essence of it was still controlled by Britain and England, by England. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. So when you look at the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence or any of those documents, how many Freemasons signed it and why?
Well, shit, I don't know the exact number.
No, I'm saying not exact number, but are you aware that many Freemasons signed
absolutely.
it? I don't know the number either.
Yeah.
And why did they sign it?
Well, they signed it because they were the ones who constructed and actually created the United States Corporation at that time. They were the ones who were actually eligible and to be held accountable for creating that entity. Now, the thing is, me and you aren't a party to the Constitution, but we are included as we the people. We didn't sign the Constitution, but these officers who swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and Thomas Jefferson, all these people who actually signed it, they created the Constitution for us. We the people, to protect us. As long as we are operating as we the people of the United States of America, then there's a certain amount of rules and laws that these people who swore an oath have to uphold and protect. If you swore an oath to these rules and laws to protect me as we the people and you don't, we can chop your fucking head off. And that goes all the way back to King Charles and the Magna Carta. Because really, this is where the rule, because again, this is English common law that we are operating in. We speak English, we talk English, we think English. You know what I'm saying? Our laws are in English. This is English common law. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when we can, separate from the emotions and actually understand our English heritage to things, it supersedes all of this bullshit over here.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like this is how I win a lot of my court cases, because I come with my English heritage and according to the English laws. Because, I'll just say this. Let me back it up. Here in America, we have two different sets of laws. You have English common law, and then you also have, after 1871, you have the Romans, and you have how can I say, statutory law, shall we say, that came in. English common law is English common law is constitutional law. That is, you have the right to travel. You have the right to bear arms, right? But after 1871 and those bankers came in, the Jewish bankers and just other people, they were like, you know what? We're going to operate under statutory law now. And they said, well, you know what?
You're saying that's Roman
law.
We're
going to drive. You need a license in order to drive. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not driving. I'm traveling according to my constitutional and English common rights. But when you're operating under the bar, right, which is the British accredit, Britain and England are two totally different things. People don't even know that, because if you go to Britain now, you're going to go there and you're going to see a flag with the red, blue, whatever, whoop, whoop. But when you actually see the World Cup, you'll see motherfucking England playing with the white flag and the red. It's different. England and Britain is two totally different sovereign entities, two different entities. So it's about knowing that Britain is a corporation and England is the actual sovereign entity. United States is a corporation, but the United States of America is a sovereign entity. It's about knowing the difference. There's always public and private. You know what I'm saying? And when you can understand the difference between that, you can go play in any country. I can go to Canada. I can go to Jamaica. Because they're all operating under English common law. These are all places where the Englishman has went, conquered, took over, and he put down his law system. So since he did that, I'm an Englishman. My last name is White. My last name White actually stems from Gloucestershire in England. I could take you back to the castles we have in England for my family lineage. Wow. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep it is. Like, so many of us just think these names came from slavery. Like, hell no. When King James was over here taking over America and fighting over these Indians, he was importing Englishmen, Irishmen, Scottishmen, but they were also melanated. They weren't just white men. They were also melanated, ruddy. We were coming from England. They were white men too as well, but they were ruddy. They were swarthy melanated men. They were all kind of men that were coming from England, Scotland, Ireland, and they didn't just go home after the war. They saw some of these beautiful sisters running around with feathers. They were like, yeah, I'm about to knock her off. I'm about to get her. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they didn't go back home. They made families.
And that's actually a great point. I feel like a lot of people, even from the white and black community,
both of them
don't really know who they are, where they came from.
Exactly.
See, my mom was from Europe. She's from the Netherlands. So at least I have a little bit of understanding of who I am. Mm-hmm. My mom, I'm half Dutch. But a lot of people, white too, they don't know shit about where they came from.
1,000%.
A lot of the black community don't know what part
the majority
of Africa, don't. So one of the things that I've heard you say in this podcast a couple of times, and you probably said on Instagram, you got to know who you are.
Man, come on.
Like, who are you?
Yes, sir.
Who are you? Because when you know who you are, that's going to open up a lot of more doors. Like if you don't know who you are, that holds you back from your potential. Yeah. You have to really understand who you are. And I definitely agree with that message.
Yeah, because, that's why I tell people we got to get past the racial and the skin future shit. Because let's say your last name was White. Like, my last name was White. You know what I'm saying? We still come from the same family house, that stems back from England somewhere. At the end of the day, it's like we could either sit here and argue about skin, this and that, or we could be like, yo, you got money, I got money, we got business, we got the same last name, we got the same family. Let's get on some business real quick. Let's power the fuck up because your family name is my family name. Let's just get on this business and power some shit up. But it's like the society, the ones that are in control, know that we know if we just know that we all come from the same houses, we could power up and overthrow their whole system. If they don't want us to know that we know each other. Yeah.
It's as simple as this. And it's not just race, but race is a big one that we hear about a lot. Of course. But we can break into religion. We can break into financial status.
Of course.
We can go into, Republican, Democrat, left, right. Yeah. Like, there's all these sports teams.
Yeah, separation.
There's a separation always. And the only reason, I don't believe in separation. I believe in vibes and heart. If I meet you, I can immediately know.
Yeah, if you got that soul.
Yeah, exactly. If we should be separated or not. Yeah. Because I separate myself from negativity and bad people. Yeah. That's okay. Because bad people, they separate themselves from good people. They can go chill with their people. Yeah. But when we're talking about bad and good people, this has nothing to do with race.
Yeah.
Political party. Any of that shit I just said. I don't have to repeat it. Like, it's spirit. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's an essence,
So you get around your people and you build on that. And we have to... So don't be separated by these ideologies, beliefs, skin tones, whatever. Yeah. Let's be separated by who is your people. My people don't always have white or black or whatever skin.
Absolutely.
My people, they have a good heart.
And that's what I'm on. They
want to elevate.
Yeah.
They want to be good people. They want to build. Absolutely. Like, that's my people. Absolutely. My people are not defined by anything but that. That's who I say my people. 100%. And I feel like if we all could let those psychological beliefs control who my people... But I understand why you would want to support by race...
Bro, no, it ain't even like, bro, you hitting right on it. Because, and this is going to be something from my community that's real hard that a lot of us don't even want to let go, right? Because a lot of us have our own discrepancies and things, but it's like at the end of the day, when you know who you are as a person, you don't really care about what other races are because you know who they are. You know who everybody is. You know what's going on. You know who all the chess pieces is on the board. So it's not about me hating anybody. I know myself. So me knowing me also lets me know who everybody else is. So, when I know who I am and what I am, I don't have a reason to hate anybody because it's like I know exactly who you are. I'm not going to lie to you. I know exactly who you are, your whole conception, where your people, like, I know, but vice versa. It's like we're not here to hate each other because of our creations and our conceptions. We're here to judge each other off our experiences and who we are and what we share with each other.
And how we react to those experiences and what it created.
Before this night, I didn't know your brother before. I mean, we had conversations and this and that. This is my first time in the flesh.
Right.
But when I met you in the flesh and actually had conversations, we chill, drank a little. You ain't got to put all this on there, but we smoke a little chill. But I was like, bro, really cool than a motherfucker. I'm like, oh, he really one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really have too many homeboys. I don't really have too many friends.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just on some real shit.
Because I'm not from here, so it's very limited.
I'm from here, and I don't have too many friends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not from here, but I'm telling you, I'm from here, and I don't. But it's like something about your energy. And it wasn't even anything about color or race, whoop. And as soon as you even started pulling out your girl, your picture, and I saw the queen there, I was like, oh, okay, something told me I need to come up here and say something to this brother then. Like, I'm already knowing. As soon as I said that, I was like, she was like the verification to let me know. And you never even told me what your wife or your kids even look like. You never even told me that. I was going purely off of Instagram and energy and vibration. This dude was like, no, the ancestors was like, go, see what it is. See what this takes you. You know what I'm saying? But what I could tell you is, bro, you got the energy. Well, I'll rock with you for the long route, bro. Just because, there's so much that I could learn from you and vice versa that you could teach and preach and show so many other people that look like you too. Just the game, bro. Because at the end of the day,
equal, bro.
It's not about hate. It's not about race. At the end of the day, it's a system on our ass, bro.
Right, but when I say it's equal, I mean I could equally learn from you.
Oh, vice versa.
That's why I reached out. Because I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know I would be able to teach because I'm very humble, but I knew that you would be able to teach.
Yeah.
And my goal with this podcast,
you taught me a lot just talking tonight. I'll tell you that.
Because I try to, but it's not just about teaching you. The world, and I'm not an arrogant person. I have a lot to learn, like we spoke about before.
Yeah.
But I feel like the world needs to hear it. The world needs to hear the unity. Like.
Man, bro,
every
you
way,
on point. That's exactly it.
The world needs the unity, and we talk when we brought into politics. My main thing was we don't need to make it about race. Why does politics have to be about race? I don't like that.
Right.
I wish it wasn't.
Right.
I wish you could support who you want to support, and race isn't a factor.
Right.
And I'll say this: if race is a factor, then let's create a black party. Then let's create a party that has not Obama. No offense to Obama, because. Sure. If Obama's the first black president, and he's half black, then when the real, like, let's say you became president, are you the first black president? Because are you full black?
I mean, it just depends on if we identify by those terms.
Let's not even use those phrases.
Yeah,
I don't even want to say it like that, but like I feel like if you're literally half white, then if somebody who comes in who is let's say full black, I feel like that should be the first black president.
Right.
Why take that away from him? You know what I'm saying? But the point is I feel like we just have to come together as one.
Absolutely.
And we have to stop looking at race. I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
Just to tell you that.
Well, I think we just really need to
I'm literally colorblind.
Oh,
I'm literally colorblind.
Oh.
I'm like, not even just like metaphorically fucking colorblind.
I'm thinking you talking shit.
No, I'm colorblind. Like blue, like a lot of colors, like that blue right there. I know it's blue because I know, but it looks purple to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stop. Okay,
so
I'm thinking you were just talking
So by saying that means that I don't see color. Meaning I don't. I mean, I'm not
in real life.
In real life, I'm not just saying that. Like I don't see the right colors. I don't fucking know what color it is.
I got you.
So because of that, I don't categorize things by color. I don't say someone, hey, that dude with the red hat over there, because I don't know if it's red. What if I'm wrong?
You're right.
So I just say the dude over there, you know, I describe him in a different way. The short dude, tall dude, you see what I'm saying? I'm not going to describe him by color. So I think I'm a unique person in that perspective to say that I literally, if someone's dark, super light, Spanish, whatever, that doesn't matter.
You accept people for who they are.
Who they are. Their vibration, energy.
I'll tell you, that's going to get you a long way, brother. You've already done the work. I'm going to just tell you that. You know, whether you put this on camera or not, I'm going to tell you you've done the work already. You've done the highest and the hardest thing that most white men could never do. You know what I'm saying? You and this just on some real. This just between you and I. And again, you can cut all this, but you know, we all here for a test. You know what I'm saying? And for me, as melanated man, is do we know God or are we following the ways of man? Do we know who the original man is? We were here for thousands and millions of years, but we've been so lost in just the religions and the ways of man that we forgot who we were and we started following his religions and his ways and whoop that. We've been here for millions of years so much, but yet you'll come up here and you'll hang a blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus on your wall. But you've been here for millions of years, sister, brother. But you forgot who you were. But you have a different test, right? My test is knowing who I am. Your test is knowing, when you do know and you do wake up and you come into the knowledge of self, do you have the ability, to accept that there was original people that came before you? Do you have the ability to accept who your wife is, who your lady is, how greatness her extension in this planet is? You had a child. You didn't just accept her and just say, yeah, I believe
we don't have children together.
Oh, you don't?
No. But I raised her children.
Oh.
But I have kids. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
You took her kids.
Right.
You raised them.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You see? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you birthed them, but it was the
right.
fact
Just to specify, yeah.
I raised them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I accept them.
Because to me, they are that.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, right.
That's all that matters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've already climbed certain ladders that certain white men could never do.
Absolutely.
I want you to understand that.
Yeah, for sure, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're so far ahead, bro.
Yeah, I get very offended.
Yeah.
By people who don't see it my way, and
I would say the same. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, and I can understand that, and I don't like that, but I feel like, look, love.
Because I'm with you.
Like, I've met people of all kinds.
Absolutely.
And I don't even like people saying that because I look at everybody's people like they're not all kinds.
Absolutely.
But if you want to, if that makes sense to you, to other people, I've met people of all kinds.
Absolutely.
And I've met good-hearted people of all races.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been around the black community a lot, and I've met so many good people, wholehearted people who just really want to be there and just support you and just love you. Yeah. And like a different type of love.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause you're from Louisiana, my girl's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
So you're not from Louisiana. But you're oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're not from Louisiana, but your family's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
I know Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like. I've met all her family. And man, and my homeboy on I do the other podcast with, he's from Louisiana. Or from New Orleans. I've met his whole family. There's a different type of love.
It is.
And I'm not saying white people can't love that way.
Of course.
I'm just saying that, man,
it's different.
If you can try to like how can you have a negative feeling towards that type of love? If the capability of that type of love is so powerful, how can you ever? So when you see now, if you're a white man who was raised in the middle of Arkansas when you ain't never seen a black man, but you heard a lot of bad shit from your parents.
Yeah.
Or if you're a black man and you were raised in wherever and you never met a white man and all you heard was he's the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Then you know what? I'm not going to say I can understand because I don't want to side with anybody who's like that. But I can say that you can only judge what you know and what you see.
Why do you think you made it though, brother?
Because I came from a place of multiculturalness. Like you said earlier about Houston.
Yeah.
Is like that in Tampa. I was always around every race so much. And I never...
It seemed normal to you.
Yeah, it's normal.
There was never a difference.
No matter what nobody told me, which I didn't have racist influences in my life. So I can...
And most of your
homeboys
that was black probably didn't talk down on you because you were like white. It was
yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
No, it was like, no, they really just treated you like one of the
because
homies.
I was... exactly. So there's a lot of factors to it. And maybe when we talked about... We can go back to... It was all written. Yeah. Maybe it was written that way. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Because I don't disagree.
It was written for you to probably grow up around us and for you to be just have
who
nature.
I am.
Yeah. That is what you was.
Because I don't ever want to come on my podcast and tell someone they're wrong. I just want to say that I just feel if I'm going to make an impact on the earth, I want to say that we should just stop with the racial judging. Please. Yeah. Because I don't care where you came from. There's so many amazing people who are black, even white, even Spanish.
That are Asian.
And I shouldn't even say even. I'm just saying in general. I'm talking about, I'm speaking from the listener's view. Yeah. No matter what, people are people. Yeah. People are good and people are bad. Yeah. And it's a frequency, it's a vibration. It's where their mind is at. Some people are good today and bad tomorrow. Absolutely. And so nobody's ultimately bad. They're just bad right now. And we got to stop because why does that matter? Because I can maybe change someone's perspective. Yeah. Maybe there's a racist. Whether you can be racist when you're black or not, that's a whole other topic. We can go on another podcast.
That's a whole different kind of racist.
But
we can have a topic on that.
We don't have to talk about that exact. But no matter what race you are, you can hate other races.
Yeah, of course.
And even it could be understanding to some. Yeah. Because of experiences. Yeah. I can understand it. But, man, we're just people out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, either you got a good heart or you don't. Yeah. Can we see it that way?
That's it.
That's it.
And, that's, and doing what I've learned and, especially with commerce and just constitutional. That's why, there was a lot. I've learned so much different law. I've learned, like, Moorish history. I've learned, Hebrew. I've learned just all these just different forms of law. And it's like, at the end of the day, one thing that I can realize that I can just come together with all of humanity is that Constitution. And that Constitution doesn't talk about a certain ethnicity or certain race. It just talks about we the people, right? So that was the thing where I realized it didn't matter what race we were. I could connect with everybody on the topic of we the people, and it wasn't just about Aboriginals. It wasn't just about treaties. It wasn't just about Indians or, and it was like, at the end of the day, as long as we can learn that Constitution and that organic Bill of Rights, the organic Constitution, going back when they had a actual constitutional convention, right? Because they have different amendments and things that they add to the Constitution now. But if they weren't done with an actual convention, it's not actually de jure and natural. So that's just something that people always have to remember that, the last time they actually had a real natural constitutional convention was hundreds of years ago. So all of this shit that they're doing now is all for the shit show and just, for the smoke and mirrors. Until they have a constitutional convention, everything they're doing is all bullshit.
So basically what he's telling y'all is we don't really know our Constitution and we don't know our rights. And we have a lot more rights than we use. Absolutely. There's a lot of more understanding, education of the Constitution. And we covered so many fucking good topics today. Holy shit. We could go another hour. You know what I'm saying? If I had the space on my chips. But you know what? That just tells me there's a part 2 that needs to happen. But I feel like we have to become more educated. Yes, sir. As a society. Yeah. And we have the constitutional, the government. There's so much we don't understand. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Because we don't learn that. Yeah.
And we're gonna get on to that one on the next one now. We're gonna talk about that, right? We're gonna get into the Constitution. We can start with that. We get with the Bill of Rights and just break it down piece by piece. Yeah. Right.
Because there's so much we're missing about making money. Yes, sir. About being successful in life. About, overcoming. And I feel like some of this stuff holds us back. If you're not, we spoke about it for the podcast. If you get pulled over and you don't know your rights.
Come on. You've been get wrapped up.
Fourth Amendment rights.
14th Amendment, yes,
14th Amendment. If you don't know these rights, then you're going to be having a disadvantage, okay? So it's just period in life. This is one example now.
Yes, sir.
You think that's just only that? You think it ends with that? Like, if you want to make money, if you want to be a business entrepreneur, you might want to know some code. You might want to know some city code, some constitutional rights.
Come on.
Everything, for sure. But I definitely appreciate you coming today, bro.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
I appreciate the whole connection, just even bringing me on, inviting me out here to talk to your beautiful crowd and your beautiful following, man. And, me and my brother here, we're going to be building together from now on. He's out here in Houston. I'm out here. And, this is just part 1. We're going to have part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, because, it's levels to this, man. We got to take your people to setting up their trust, their wills, their everything, man, so that they can secure their whole family.
Right.
And, and if, I'm just trying to give it to you all. I'm going to do it for you for the free. And as long as you tapped into my homie, whatever I'm doing, it's going to be for him. You know what I'm saying? So whatever he charging, whatever he doing, that's on him. But I'm giving it all to my brother here because at the end of the day, he's out here doing God's work. If we just want to be real. He's out here doing God's work, and he's out here really trying to just put people on alignment with finding themselves and really trying to evolve. And that's what I'm here for. So when I meet other people who are doing the same things and on the same path that I'm on, all I can do, the ancestors told me to lay it down and be a God and just help my other brothers trying to be a God too, so that we can all be gods together. We all gods and we all kings, we all queens, and it's time for us to come together to change the world, man. We don't need government. You know what I'm saying? We already got ourselves. We got the Constitution. All we need to do is learn and be aware of what our rights are and how we can defend ourselves. Other than that, it's time, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I will add just one thing. I appreciate all the kind words for sure, bro. And I feel the same way about you, bro. The energy's there.
Vice versa. You the man.
For sure. Absolutely, bro. But I will say this. I think we do need government. And I'll tell you why. Because it's chaos.
Our own private government, if we have our own. But I'm saying what I mean when we
but the reason why I say that is because a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
And they don't realize, take away that safety. Do you really? Do you? How?
And
we need to get into that.
Yeah. Now you're right.
You're at home sleeping. Oh, you're sleeping, right?
Because you got gorillas and you got goons out here.
You might not like the police, but best believe the only reason why you're sleeping right now without a knife in your hand or a gun in your hand is because
them laws out there.
Them laws out there.
You're right.
Because back in the day, you had to have that sword on your hip to sleep in your tent. In the woods, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the real Wild Wild West.
Yeah, the real Wild West. So we do need government, but let's take advantage, the best advantage we can with their situation. Yeah. Being a victim means that you're laying down. Yeah. You're defeated. Yeah. A victim is defeated.
Absolutely.
Right? A victim is defeated.
1000%.
Let's stop being, and this is even about race. I'm talking about just people in general.
Yeah, no, if you're as citizens or nationals. Yeah,
if you're an American citizen and you feel a victim to the economy, you feel a victim to the system. Yeah. For whatever reason. Yeah. You're only a victim because you perceive it that way. If you say I'm not a victim, I'm somebody who's gonna figure out another fucking way.
You're a national instead of a citizen. Never, I'm about to go into a whole spiel. But no, you're right. You see, your mindset is different.
Boom. Your mindset. You're not a victim. You are somebody who's gonna overcome and be great if you tell yourself that. You know, so that's
the only difference. Right
so
there.
We need government, but we don't have to let them tell us bullshit.
Okay.
We have the opportunity to open our eyes.
Yeah. We can use government when it's used for the beneficial purpose
because
of the
we have
people.
no choice, right?
Yeah. When it's actually beneficial and doing what it's supposed to do, government is good. Government was never supposed to be bad.
Right.
That's the crazy thing, bro.
It's corruption over time.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things we don't need about government. But the point I'm trying to make is, to a certain degree...
But no, government is good,
Yeah,
though.
it's chaos without
it, right? If it works for us.
Yeah.
If they're doing their real job. Yeah.
So it's our job as the adults...
As we the
people, to hold them accountable, right?
That's it.
We're on the internet talking. Let's tell them what the fuck we think.
The problem is we aren't holding people accountable.
Exactly.
That's it.
But that's what we're doing.
That's it.
That's and all you can do as the viewers is support it and share it.
Yeah.
And let people know these guys.
This is just the beginning.
This is just one conversation. Yeah. You know, but there's many more between us and other people that will support the fact that there's a better way.
Yeah. Listen, he lives in Texas. When I tell you we're going to be putting recordings and things together because I can explain to you exactly how we need to open up these cases and go file cases with the risk management department and how to put actual liens on these bonds of these policy enforcers who are messing with you. Like, yo, we don't have to do all of this trying to sue people, go to court. Like, no, they have people in places, departments that are in place. Like, you don't go to McDonald's and argue with the cash register. You go to the you go to the manager. So it's the exact same thing when it applies to the police officers and the sheriff department. We don't go to them to comply. Yeah, we go straight to the internal affairs, and we go to the risk management department here in the local county. Literally, the risk management department here in the county holds every single officer's bond, like insurance. So when they have infringed on you and done something illegally, we go to the risk management department and put in a complaint. They immediately put a lien on their bond and take their motherfucking pistol and their badge and say, well, hold on, we can't do anything until we finish this investigation. That's what we need to learn, the process of business. You know what I'm saying? Police officers are police officers, but they work for somebody. You know?
It's specific. What you said, it's a process.
It's a process.
We have to learn
Everything
the
is
steps.
a process.
People don't know the steps. They just know that, it's denied, it didn't work. It didn't work because you didn't follow the process.
You either didn't follow it or you didn't know
missed a step. You didn't know it. You didn't know it. You didn't know it. That's always true. Well, not that. If you didn't follow it, it's because you didn't know it. Probably. That's why you couldn't follow it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not that it doesn't exist. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, and it's deep because, and I definitely, the next podcast I want to get straight into that, because the reason why that's important is because this is my point, is to benefit the people.
Come on.
And we open some. I hope we open a couple minds today.
Bro, we about to open.
Like, we talked about some shit. You know what I mean? And I feel like we need to open some minds, and we need to open some minds about, this exact topic. Before we get out of here, tell them where they can follow you at and where they can find you at.
Oh, man, they can follow me on Brotha Truth on Instagram, BROTHATRUTH, Brotha Truth, and also iselflowingmaster.com. They can find us there. And, man, just, connect with us on any of that, man. So Instagram, Brotha Truth, man, and that's it.
I appreciate you coming today.
Yeah, man.
Kill that shit. Yes,
man, bro. Listen here, bro.
It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow.